Hey everyone, we're back. Another lovely episode of the ModeCast. This is the story about how I almost ruined my life. But I should give a precursor to this. This is a story that this is the first time I've ever told it in detail. It is something I don't like to tell because it's a story I am not proud of. I will probably never tell a story in this much detail ever again. So I guess putting it out publicly is the best way to do it so you don't ever have to say it again. It's something I don't like talking about because it brings up all the old feelings and it just makes me feel like crap for like another day if I went after thinking about it. But it's just really something that I am not proud of. It doesn't make me look good. It sucks. Ryan?
I would just like everyone to know how. I mean, yeah, if there was a video camera on you while you're saying this, just to let everyone know how much it affects you. I mean, I think I've heard the story 3 times, and I don't know when did you go to Iraq? What year was that?
2005. All of 2005. 2005.
So, out of 11 years, I think I've gotten you to bring it up 3 times.
Yeah, every time I've ever told the story, it's usually in less than 10 minutes.
And I've never even heard the full story.
Yeah.
Like what you've given me is cut-off version because you don't want to talk about it.
No. And you figure, so everyone gets a better understanding of that, I tell you everything.
Yeah, everything. So, yeah, I don't know. I think, to me, watching you tell the story was sad just because I've never seen you get so worked up. So that's just what I want the listeners to know, that it's not something that you're fucking proud of, because I've, like I said, 3 times for 11 years, and I've gotten, like, half of the story.
Well, I don't care who you are. I mean, we're all scared of being judged.
Yeah.
And for sure, that's not one of my finest times in my life. And like I always say, I regret all of it.
Yep.
Because had I not had the reputation I had, or the person, or the colonel that was in charge at the time, I probably would just be getting out of jail. And that's insane to think. I mean, I've done so much in that time. But yeah, so I hope everybody likes the story. It probably will be the last time I'll ever tell it. Please don't judge me. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, not something he's proud of. So, ModeCast out.
ModeCast in. It's the ModeCast in. We're just starting. All right. I hope everybody enjoys it. Oh, follow us on Twitter at the ModeCast. Did I say that already?
Nope.
We need to start promoting that shit. We have a Twitter. And we're going to soon have a website, themodecast.com. You can probably see it right now in its half-ass form.
Yeah, it's definitely half-ass.
Email us your opinions, your judgments at themodecast@gmail.com.
Even if it's negative, something to improve the show, email us at themodecast at gmail.com.
Maybe something we're doing that's annoying you.
Yeah.
Oh, and thank you, Nicholas Cardenas, for your awesome intro.
And Zach.
And Zach. I haven't met you, but I would like to because your band is awesome.
Yeah, and go to check out his band at Melting Suns. The Melting Suns.
The Melting Suns. They're pretty rad. All right, ModeCast in.
What would you get in trouble for out there?
What would I get in trouble for? I got in trouble for, possession.
I hate Jeremy telling the story because he always tells the short version.
Uh-huh.
The long version is trippy. You tell the short, like, I've had Jeremy tell the story 3 times.
I'm so hoping I was going to get through this conversation without this story.
How could you not?
He tells the short story, and everyone's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
The long version's trippy as fuck. You'd be mind blown.
He mind blown, for real. Now,
How he got, yeah.
So Jeremy, explain to me, did you go into, like, the city?
No, just give you the long version.
I want to hear the long version of what you got.
The story.
Detail, don't.
The story they want is me being the story of me being a bit of a drug dealer
in Iraq.
Nice.
In Iraq, with on deployment with the army. Basically, it got started because a buddy of mine was a medic, and he was in a special platoon that worked directly with like the Iraqi army. It was a special group of the Iraqi army that were kind of like a special forces, and they would go. They had special privileges, and he was a medic that worked directly, and they had an Iraqi doctor that they worked directly with, and so he had a hookup on diazepam, which is a generic Valium, and steroids. There were certain drugs you can get and certain drugs that were illegal in the country. But steroids, fucking testosterone and decadurabolin were easily accessible. And I started getting the diazepam from him just to fucking get high with. You know, happy pills pretty much. Then,
Was that the shit that, like, didn't you have the shit that's like muscle relaxers too, Somas?
No, I didn't have those. Well, I had those when me and you were roommates.
Oh,
I
yeah,
I got those from TJ.
Right? Oh, yeah.
Used to get fucked up and see how long we could stay awake for.
Oh, yeah.
Reminds me of fucking Wolf of Wall Street.
Well, you know what we would do is we'd
Yeah.
take what we would take is we'd
It wasn't Walt. I mean, Somas.
we'd take
but,
those
Quaaludes,
we'd take
whatever.
those Somas and then we'd mix it with wild turkey. That was a
Yeah,
crazy
muscle
night.
relaxers are not a good idea. You need to have somewhere to lay down nearby.
Yeah, seriously. So many times I took Soma with wild turkey. I mean, a few times I didn't show up to formation. And they had to, like, lie. Like, what? Where's Shaw at?
Yeah, he's not getting out of bed. He's a dead person right now. Okay,
So
back to Iraq.
How are we still alive? Seriously.
I have no idea. Back to Iraq. So he fucking threw me some steroids. I was like, fuck yeah, I'll fucking get rid of these for you. And started slinging those. And those went like wildfire. I have no idea. I mean, I guess we had a lot of guys had time to kill because a lot of guys got swole real quick because of me. I became a little bit of a drug kingpin because I had this little drug ring going, and I started having a couple guys sell for me.
That's why you like Breaking Bad so much. I can relate.
It's so crazy because looking back, like I didn't really think of it as like I was selling drugs. Like everything happened so quick, and I was fucking high off diazepam all the time, and so I didn't even really think about it as I was selling drugs. I was just helping other people out. I really was because like they wanted it, and fucking I had a connection, and I didn't want to like. He didn't really have access to the base. He would only come by like once a week because they had to stop by and check in, report in with our superiors. And of course, he always had to come meet up with me because I always had a couple grand to hand over to him. But
He bought me my first car, Britt. I tell you that off steroid money.
Really?
Yeah, it was a Ford Escort. Jeremy paid for
I
it.
didn't pay for it. I gave you $1,000.
Well, whatever. It was half the cost. So
Yeah, but yeah, and then I
Oh,
started
that's
coming up on
yeah, you remember that bad boy?
I had another buddy
Yeah.
who came up on an Iraqi street drug. There's a whole other side of the story that Ryan knows about that I can't tell, and I'm not going to tell. I'm not going to tell on the internet, anyways. If you ask me personally, I can give you the story. But this side of it, the drug side of it. Yeah, next thing I know, I was had a little bit of a hookup on this Iraqi street drug. No, to this day, I have no idea what I was taking, but it was a little tiny pink pill, the smallest pill I've ever taken. And the first time I took it, I took half of it, and I split it with my buddy. And it was it felt like being really, really stoned or high on weed, but my body was super heavy. Like it was really hard to move around. And I saw like little tiny visuals, like shapes and like shapes and colors in the air. And it was kind of like just a little bit weird. It was kind of fun to do. And then so on my birthday out there in Iraq, I was able to come up on another one. Or actually, I came up on there was a bunch of them. I think I had like 20 pills.
Oh, shit.
And I handed them out like candy because I was like, it's my birthday. We're getting fucked up. We're partying. And for whatever reason, I was going crazy over there because
What's that called? I know it's an Iraqi street drug, but do you guys know the name of it?
I didn't know what the name of it was. I just knew it was like a street drug because trying to get the translation was like just English to the Arabic was to their language.
It's all Kill Whitey.
Probably was taking Kill Whitey pills.
Yeah, for all I look, this is how fucking
Jeremy's
stupid it
taking
was.
Kill
For all
Whitey
I,
pills
like
in
we're getting
Iraq.
it from an Iraqi interpreter. For sure, it could have been fucking poison that just killed me.
Oh, Lord.
But anyways, I fucking take it. I just pass them out like candy. Get fucked up. I don't remember anything from the night. I wake up in a hospital in Baghdad trying to figure out what the fuck happened. But when I woke up, I was fucking handcuffed to a gurney with people over me, and I was trying to figure out what the fuck is going on.
What was your instant like? Like, did you think it was a dream?
No, because I still had it in my head that I took a drug. And so when I woke up, I knew something bad had happened.
What was the level of like fear? Like 1 out of 10, or was it just through the roof? Or were you just like, oh fuck? Because you have a different like perception on things. And most people like me, I'd be like, oh fuck. But you're like, oh well, I fucked up now. Like that's kind of how you.
So your handcuffs are gurney.
Well, imagine the worst situation you've ever been in. The fear from that, and then just at minimum double that to where you already know you're fucked. If you're because of the situation I was in.
No, that's my point though. What I'm saying, most people's level of fuck isn't where yours is at.
Well, no,
Jeremy's level of fuck is way higher than my level of fuck.
This way, no. His is way lower. I'm saying mine is through the roof. Jeremy is like, whatever.
Jeremy expects that. Oh shit! What did I do now?
No. It's like, oh shit. It's like, oh well. Whatever. I fucked up. Like, what can I do now? That's where I'm like,
fucked up. Sorry.
Well, it wasn't even that I like could be scared. Like it was beyond that because I was so fucked, and I knew I was so fucked. I was just like, screw it. Like, what am I? I'm already in the situation. I can't, and I was already handcuffed to the fucking gurney. What am I going to do? And so all I can do is listen to what they're telling me and fucking try to answer whatever questions they're asking.
So who was asking you questions? The sergeants or
there was a private medic and a lieutenant nurse that were standing over me. It was like weird because it's like that weird like movie situation where you wake up with like a light above you and people standing above you.
Yeah.
And then I woke up and I kind of freaked out. I was like, what the fuck's going on? Where the fuck am I? And they were like, calm down. And I'm like, no, what the fuck? And then I kind of realized I'm stuck. And they were telling me to calm down. So I was like, all right, just tell me what's going on. And they were like, you took something. We don't know what's wrong with you. Can you tell us anything? And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I kept saying, I don't know. Where am I? And they're like, you're in Baghdad. You're in the hospital. They were trying to make sure. And they were like, what's today? I gave them the date. This is the year. And so they knew I was sane. Come to find out later that night, what the nurse told me is that they were getting ready to evac me to Germany because they thought I was crazy. Like they thought the screw was loose. Like I just flipped a lid.
Wow.
Like they were like getting ready. They were processing the paperwork to evac me to Germany.
You probably would have actually
and so what
it would have been beneficial for you to do that though, huh?
Maybe. I don't
think
know.
What
about
made
it.
them not send you when you
I woke up.
them
No, I woke up and they started just going through. They started asking me questions about where I was, my name, what unit I am, where out in Iraq my unit is. I was just answering everything just fine. Like I just went from being crazy, just snapping back to reality.
So did you get in trouble at all?
Well, we're getting there.
Okay, I'm ready.
We're getting there.
You don't know this story.
No, I don't think you ever told me.
Yeah, I told you everything. It's been a long time.
Maybe. So keep going.
probably-
I feel bad.
I
I feel bad asking Jeremy to bring up the story because it sucks. Because like for people that are listening, it stresses you the fuck out. Like this isn't something that you're fucking like.
Well, it's not something I'm proud of.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're telling the story fine, but like I hope people aren't listening. Like oh, like this fucking piece of shit is like okay with this story. Like no, I know this is a story you don't like to tell.
No, I mean,
I want to hear it. You probably told me.
No, but
before,
I'm saying like
remember.
if you watch Jeremy, like, he's scratching his head, like he gets nervous.
Yeah, he's fidgeting
He gets
so much.
anxiety telling this
It's
story.
okay
And I know
I
it.
don't think
Because-
I've seen you fidget that much telling the story.
It's
Like,
okay because Brittany's okay with it.
well, no, because everything
it's
I'm
not-
telling
it's
you.
What happens in the past stays in the
It's
past.
not that.
Brittany.
Just I know he doesn't like talking about the
It doesn't bother
story.
me.
See, it doesn't bother Brittany. Keep
No, I'm not
going.
worried about Brittany.
That's
excited.
not that. It's his anxiety
It's not.
kicking
Brittany
in.
knows this whole story.
He
It's
doesn't
just a
like
matter
talking.
of telling more people.
Well, you're not
More
really
people
telling
knowing now
anybody
than-
but the 4 people that are in this room. Now everybody else that posts on YouTube,
Dude, it's not like we have a podcast. man.
have
You tell
fun,
the story.
guys, listening to this one. Go ahead, Jay. I want to hear this shit. You probably told me before. I just don't
Oh,
remember.
can I have converted back so I can take a hit? So basically, come to find out, yeah, they were planning on evacuating me to Germany. But once I came to and answered all their questions and realized how fucksville I was, I just didn't know. I pretty much was just I just was dreading getting back to my unit because I knew I was going to jail. I just for sure thought I was going to jail, because I knew what I had on me when I went. I knew what I had on me or in my what I would have called hidden at the time. Which pretty much being fucked up on drugs and like thinking that putting something like in my box where I put all my other personal possessions is hiding something. And I had over 1,000 diazepam pills.
I'm confused on what that really is.
It's Valium. It's generic Valium. You know how you have the name brand pill Valium?
Okay.
Okay, for instance, you have Vicodin and then you have hydrocodone. Hydrocodone is the generic form of Vicodin.
Okay.
So you have Valium or diazepam.
Gotcha.
and they were 10 milligram pills, which, from what I understand, that's a higher dose.
So where did you get them?
From my medic buddy, who worked with an Iraqi doctor, who got them from the doctor.
But how much did you sell them for?
I think I bought them for $1 a piece because they came in sheets of, like, you know, those little pop where you push it through the thumb.
Yeah.
Like 10 packs. I bought $10 for a 10-pack, so $1 a pill, and then
You got 1,000 of them?
Well, when I went to the hospital, I had 1,000 of them on me.
Yeah, like on you?
Not on me, but in my
your possession.
Space.
Yeah.
1,000 fucking dude. See, I didn't know that.
No, I had over 1,000 pills. I don't know how many there were. It's probably like 12, 13.
Dude, and when you have pills that are in the fucking like those little silver sheets, it probably seemed like way more than that because 1,000 pills in bottles doesn't seem that much. But when you have those 1,000 pills in those fucking metal sheets
upon
that
sheets
seems
of
like
pills.
a fuck ton of pills. That was like an entire box.
What were you selling them for, Jay? Like $5?
I think I was selling them for $5 a piece.
Yeah, and people were buying them like crazy.
Yeah, because I didn't really have like people selling for me. It just kind of became that way because I would tell somebody, I was like, if you bring somebody to me, I'm not going to sell you anymore. And so they would fucking, instead of bringing people to me, they would buy them for somebody else. And of course, they would then mark up the price.
Of course, for themselves, yeah. But you were making your little money, right? If you were buying them for $1 and selling them for $5, you get $4
take that
profit.
back. I wasn't selling for $5 a piece. I was selling them for $2 a piece. Because when I first had them, like, nobody seemed to want them. I loved them because they literally were happy pills. I walked around with a smile on my face every day because of those fucking things.
But I mean, so when you had this 1,000 pills, and did they ever find them? I mean,
yeah.
Or did you?
Because when I was in the hospital, this is what I was thinking. I was like, all right, I have about 1,000 pills in my possession. And I had some steroids too, but I had those somewhere else. And I was like, I don't think they'll find the steroids, but for sure, if they go through my shit, they're finding those pills. And what ended up happening when they, okay, so let me, before I start this,
Water, Jay, I could see it.
So from my event, the way I got the story, so I'm in the hospital, I'm stuck in the hospital. They released me the next day. And so they tell me what I need to do. I need to go down to the first floor and go check in at this desk, and they'll fucking, basically it's like where I find my helicopter ride back to my base. And I go down there and fucking like I barely have a uniform on. So I'm scared to be walking around as it is because I'm scared to get questioned on why I'm in like half a uniform. All I have is some fucking paperwork that they gave me from the hospital. And I find a desk and I fucking schedule the fucking flight or find out what flight they have me booked on. And I go outside and I fucking find somebody to bum a cigarette from because that was the one thing. That night when I was in the hospital, the night nurse came on and I begged her to let me go outside and smoke a cigarette. But she couldn't let me leave the room.
How long were you in
the hospital?
Yeah.
As far as I know, I was only in the Baghdad hospital for like maybe 24 hours, maybe a little over 24 hours.
But how long were you? Were you like in trouble, or do you got like?
Oh, we're still getting there, buddy. Ryan wanted me to tell the long version. It's a long story.
All right.
Yeah,
it's a long fucking story.
We're almost at 2 hours.
I can turn this into two separate. I can turn my story into one podcast.
Yeah.
So, fuck. Look, this is how much I'm nervous about telling the story.
It's okay because honestly, everybody that listens to the ModeCast probably knows the modes.
No, I know. But
yeah, but they don't know how dreading Jeremy is telling the story.
No, so I go down there, boom, schedule or find out what helicopter I'm on. I go outside, I fucking bum a cigarette off somebody. Finally get that cigarette in. Anybody who fucking smokes that had a crazy stressful situation have been like forced to not have a cigarette. And when you finally get that cigarette, so relaxing. Boom. Next thing, one of my supervisors is there. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? He's like, I rode here with you, asshole. He's like, what the fuck happened to you? He's like, I didn't even know you were released from your room. I just saw you right now, and that's why I came over to you. I'm like, dude, how the fuck did I get here? Like, I don't have any memory of anything. And I told him because we were cool. And I was like, hey, fucking, I took some drug, dude, last night. I don't know what the fuck happened. He's like, dude, you're fucked. He's like, you're so fucked. I don't even know how to tell you how fucked you are.
So they already went through shit at this point?
Yeah, he knew what they had found. And I was like, oh, God, like, what the fuck am I going to do? He's like, dude, I don't know. He's like, all I know is I have to get your ass back. And then they couldn't get us a direct flight. We had to go fly north to Balad, and from Balad, we can get a flight down south.
So they flew you to this hospital?
How far?
Yeah, they evac'd us. So basically, part of the reason that this situation was so serious is they had to medically evac me from my base to Baghdad.
And how far is that?
I think it's like 50 miles.
Oh, okay.
Well, the reason it's such a big deal is they had to use resources for me. They're taking away from like wartime resources to fly a soldier. That and it was all on my own dumbass, taking drugs. And so, in the military's eyes, that's a huge fucking deal.
Yeah, of course.
So, basically, I catch my flight to Balad. And as soon as I get to Balad, I fucking because my supervisor, he's kind of a pussy, and on top of it, me and him were cool, so he was never going to tell me for anything. I run straight to the fucking computer center, start fucking getting on and messaging my guy I was buddies with, because me and him were both kind of selling pills and the steroids. It was mostly me doing it, but he was kind of doing it too, and he was also helping like run fucking shipments for me, because he went a lot. He went a lot between us and that special platoon. Because special platoon was on another base, and he kind of went between them a lot. And so he'd take cash to them and bring drugs back to me and stuff. And so I start messaging him. He fucking instantly comes on. Like he's just been waiting for me to get on Yahoo Messenger. And we're fucking going back and forth. And he's like telling me how fucked I am. And that fucking he got brought into it. People were like ratting him out. Because they did what's called a health and welfare on my entire unit. And basically, it's just, they bring everybody outside into formation, and they just go through all your shit, prison style. And everybody that had shit got caught with it, because they were all stupid, not hiding it, because we never got searched for anything, so you never thought you actually had to hide anything from anybody. And so they all got caught, and most everybody just instantly started squealing, just started telling and everybody. And so I'm finding all this out, and then my supervisor comes over to me, and he's like, dude, fucking, I just got an email saying that you're not to touch a computer. And I was like, you got to give me 10 more minutes, and then I'll get off, I promise. And I fucking finished the conversation with him. Me and him kind of come up with a half-assed story that we're going to tell. And then so then from the next morning, we caught a flight out. So from the time that I was evac'd out and to the day I got back, because I got back like midday, on whatever day it was, but it was like 3 days later from when I got evac'd out. And so I got marched from the helipad to my commander's tent. I didn't have time to stop talk to anybody between. Just marched from. I had an escort waiting for me to take me to the commander's tent.
So you weren't allowed to talk to nobody?
No, my only communication was that messaging back and forth with my buddy and what my supervisor told me. And so I'm just trying to concoct a story, like what the fuck can I tell them? Like I already know I'm fucked. There's nothing I could do to save myself. I'm trying to save the people around me. I'm trying not to bring down motherfuckers, especially the guy who I'm buying shit from. And it wasn't somebody that I can just go and tell on and not to worry about anything happening to me. No, they were the special platoon that did crazy ass shit. They weren't right in the head. They weren't like normal to talk to. Him as the medic had killed people. And so I'm worried. We all have fucking guns, and nobody here is scared to kill anybody. Yeah. And now I'm fucking with somebody's military career, and people don't take like you fucking lightly, with their career in the military because you build. What? Am I loud?
No, can you pause real quick? Real fast? Sorry.
All right, so we paused because Ryan wanted to make sure that I'm not saying anything I don't want to talk about, and everything's fine because, well, we'll see if I actually want to release this or not. Then we also had to change the batteries because it was flashing at us. So I figured it was a good time. And where did I leave off? What were we saying?
You were talking about those guys.
You were getting marched to the.
Oh no! Yeah, so it's like I'm getting marched to this tent, and all I could think, I'm just trying to come up with a story. You figure for like the last 24 hours I've been trying to come up with a story, and I can't think of anything because what the fuck am I going to say to like keep other people out of this? Or
how would they know that you've gotten it from these other guys though?
What do you mean? No. So basically, what I did know is they had no idea where I was getting it from. I knew that for a fact that they had no idea where I was getting it from. They knew who I was giving it to, but they didn't know where it was coming from. And so I knew that's the story I was trying to figure out is where I was trying to come up with a fake story on where it was coming from. Because at this point, I like in the back of my mind, I'm really hoping that I can somehow come out of this without going to jail. Because I kind of just assume I'm going to jail, but I'm really hoping that I can come out of it. I kind of still have a hope that I'm not going to go to jail. But yeah, I know the guy who I'm getting it from. Him and his close friends who are all in the special platoon. Thanks, Chu, for all the help. Him and his friends that are in the special platoon, they were all really tight. They were a really tight group of guys. And and I knew that they would have his back on anything. I mean, I don't know how far. I didn't know how far they would go, but the mindset over there is like, I really stopped giving a fuck. And I know how that my attitude is, and it's not hard to friendly fire somebody, to have some friendly fire on somebody, and then and nothing happened. Like, it's really easy to kill somebody and to get away with it out there. Like, they're not going to do an investigation where they take the CSI investigation. You're not going to see that. It's going to be a friendly fire. I mean, look at fucking Chris Kyle. No, not Chris Kyle. What's that documentary? Huh?
The football player?
Yeah, the football player. What's his name?
I don't remember, but yeah, I know who you're talking about. He quit professional football to go over there and fight the war and died in friendly fire.
Oh, yeah.
And everything surrounding it's super sketch. Like, after everything I've seen about it and read on it, like, I would say that he was probably like murdered because he was so outspoken against the war, and he was actually had a voice because former NFL player, he had fans.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing's proved and no investigation was really done, so whatever. But what was I saying?
The guys, you don't want to fuck with them because
so I know I don't want to tell on them because I would actually fear for my life from them. I know that, like, if I tell on them. Not to mention, I just don't want to be a rat. I don't want to be a bitch. At the end of the day, like, I still have an ego. Like, I don't want to look like a bitch. I don't want to rat at anybody. But I did know for a fact that a couple of guys had told on themselves. And so I had kind of a couple different people feed me information as time went on about who was telling themselves and who wasn't. Because the first thing, I never admitted right away to me doing anything. Because not my commander. My commander didn't really know me because he had just taken over command like a month prior to this happening, so he didn't really get a chance to know me at all. Because all of my commanders loved me because don't get it twisted. This all sounds like I'm a fucking douchebag, but I was an excellent soldier. I worked my ass off. I was always squared away. All my shit was always taken care of. I was, according to everybody I always helped, I was the best supply guy that they'd ever dealt with. Mostly because I just gave everything away because it wasn't mine. Which everybody always left.
So true.
Because this whole story makes me sound like a douchebag. I was an excellent soldier. I keep losing track of my train of thought right now. Where was I going?
No,
So you pretty much you're leaving.
No, so some guys rat themselves out.
Yeah, so I'm getting word.
Stories.
I'm getting word about who's ratting themselves out and who's telling other people. But so anyway, so I'm getting marched to the tent, and I'm coming with a story, and I get into the tent. I still don't have a story. And I got my commander, my first sergeant, and my executive officer, the top three for my unit, my direct top three. And they all want to know what happened, and I kind of just deny everything. I was like, I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. I admitted to taking a drug, but they had all my pills there right in front of me, and they never found my roids because my buddy was able to find that and throw those away before they got caught, or before they were found. So they never caught me up on steroids. So if they ever listen to this, news to you, I also had steroids. They just thought it was the pills, and that's all I admitted to. But the only thing I admitted to off the bat was taking a drug that fucking made me black out. Because basically what happened when I took that drug, I found out later that I OD'd. I actually overdosed, according to the hospital. I don't know if that's true or not, but I was extremely dehydrated and walking around my base. I should tell that real quick before I go into me getting in trouble. When the reason I got caught up was after I took that pill, I ended up leaving everybody I was hanging out with, and they all went their separate ways, and I just started wandering around my base, not even in full uniform, just half a uniform, which is, you're not allowed to do that. And I ended up at our little on-base MWR, which is like a little, shithole with like that's supposed to be like a rec center, but it has like a shitty ping pong table and some books to read. But the National Guard guys that were running that, I was able to tell, I was pretty much talking gibberish, but I was able to get out enough to tell them what unit I was in. And they called my TOC, or headquarters, and the officer that was in charge that night was a good acquaintance. Like, we knew each other very well. And so he thought I was drunk when they came to get me. And he was like, well, he didn't want to get me in trouble, so he started walking me around. And as I walked around, I got worse and worse and worse and worse. He couldn't figure it out. He was trying to give me water. I wouldn't drink any water. And so he got scared, so he took me to the medic tent. And the sergeant that was in charge that night was, I was buying needles from him to sell with the roids, because the roids, I was buying just the steroid in the vial with no needles. And so I was buying needles from him because he had, basically he was just stealing needles from their supply. I'd kick him some cash. And so he didn't want to get me in trouble because, he had something to worry about.
Yeah.
And so he tells the officer, he's like, hey, I don't want to get Mode in trouble. What we can do is watch him for a while. And he's like, I've been walking around for the last hour, and he's just getting worse. And so they kind of debate for like a half hour, and they finally both are, and the officer's just like, I can't take the risk. We need to wake up the doc. And he's like, if we wake up the doctor, it's going to go up the chain of command, because the doctor's going to have to tell the first sergeant's going to have to tell everybody else. And so he wakes up the doctor, and the doctor comes, and everybody else gets woken up. And when they figure out that they don't know what's wrong with me, because the only thing they can take my vitals, make sure nothing's wrong, but they don't really have the equipment to test me for anything. They were able to test me to see if I was drunk, but I wasn't drunk, or I hadn't drinking any booze in over a week at the point, so nothing there. And so they did. That's when at the time I'm in the medics tent is when they're like, the commanders rounding up all the platoon sergeants and whatnot and trying to get together to have a health and welfare on the unit. And by the time they evac'd me out of there, they were having the health and welfare on my unit. And so apparently my supervisor was telling me when I was on the helicopter that I don't know why they didn't take shit away from me, but I apparently still had my cigarettes on me. And on the helicopter ride, I was trying to light a cigarette.
Oh my God.
And to keep me from, because I kept trying to get up and walk around too, because you just have a little lap belt that goes around you, and you can undo it yourself and get them. Fucking the back door's open. I can just walk right out the fucking helicopter. So I had one of the crew guys that's in the back, literally had to sit down in front of me and keep me from getting out of my seat. It was just because I was like a child. When you're around someone who just gets too hammered and they just can't take direction anymore.
Yeah.
That's pretty much where I was at. But I still have no idea what the drug was or what it did to me. But the doctors told me that I OD'd, and I was beyond dehydrated. Mm-hmm. And blacked out on some random drug. Who knows? It might have been heroin or something. But so back to getting in trouble. So yeah, I go to my commander's tent. I fucking I just deny everything besides I took a drug. And they have all my pills there, but they were like, we found this in your stuff. And I'm like, I don't know, dude. I had a lot of people coming through my my spot the other night, because I had my own little, that's another thing I should say. Because I knew everybody so well around the base, I was able to I was able to acquire a shipping container and turn it into a personal office / house for me, so I didn't have to sleep in the tent anymore. I had my own fucking little apartment pretty much / office. It was like my own little studio apartment.
How hot was that in there?
I had an AC. I knew not really HVAC guys, but they were our electrical guys. So I had them run me a cable, run me a cable from the generator, and then I had them acquire an AC unit for me and set it up. Basically, I just paid them off to fucking hook me up so I could stay cool. And then I fucking surrounded the entire thing in sandbags to insulate it. Well, that and to protect me from mortar attacks. Dude, I had the hookup. I fucking hustled over there.
So back to getting in trouble. What did they say?
They're just looking at me like I'm fucking retarded. Like, come on, bro. Like, you have to have something better than this. So they, sorry, I'm taking a drink of water. And so I kind of like come up with a half-assed story. Like, thinking back on it, I was a fucking retard. Mm-hmm. The story I came up with, because the Iraqi interpreters that we had, they lived on our base with us. They had their own little tent, their own little section where they lived, but they lived with us on the base. Even though they were like, just regular Iraqi citizens that they barely did a background check on, they lived with us. So I just told them, like, yeah, fucking, I bought it from my Iraqi interpreter. And they were like, okay, which one? I'm like, I never got his name. I just went down there, asked, around, what fucking drugs they can get me. They fucking told me, and fucking told them I would come back. Told them when they wanted me to come back. They told me to come back in a week. I came back a week at a certain time, and they fucking had it for me. They're like, well, could you point them out? And I'm like, dude, I don't know. They all look alike to me. Just trying to do anything to not have to identify somebody. And every fucking story I can come up with is just fucking bullshit and sounded stupid. So they did something that, was smart of them, and I don't know why I didn't think they would do this, but they have pictures of every Iraqi interpreter that we've hired. And so they just show me, pictures. They're like, here, go through these, 100 some odd pictures of every Iraqi interpreter out there and tell us. And I'm like, I don't know, kind of look like this guy. But it could have been this guy. I picked out probably like 15 guys. And every guy I picked...
So funny.
Not one of them worked on the base I was on.
So they knew you were lying or what?
Well, they knew I was lying from the start. They knew it was all me and that I was getting it from somebody in the military. They knew everything. They knew what the story was. They just needed me to give them a name.
Yeah.
And I just kept giving them lies. And thinking I was giving them a good lie, too. But it was just like I just looked retarded.
Yeah.
I looked stupid. But in my mind, I was coming up with these really good lies. But I'm not a liar at heart, so lying isn't natural for me, so I just sound stupid when I do it. But so basically, since I'm not giving them anything, they tell me that I have till the end of I think I had till like the next morning, because it was at this point, after a few hours of questioning me, it's like the evening time. They give me till the next morning to come up with a written statement. And at this point, I did admit to them that. Because they'd like thrown so much evidence in my face. I was like, all right, yeah. So it was me selling drugs. Like, who are you getting it from? I was like, the Iraqi interpreters or whatever. And then they give me to the next morning. This was before they showed me the lineup interpreters.
Did you end up giving up because it was just so hard to beat the interpreters? Like they were just.
Well, no. This was before, before they showed the lineup. Like, because I had to admit to actually selling the drugs. Because I admitted to my commander and first sergeant to them, I was like, yeah, it was me selling the drugs. I was like, but it wasn't this. Because they thought that me and this other guy were like, partners in it. But we weren't. It was mostly me doing it. He was just around, and he helped me out with it. So, but I tried to protect him the most because we were boys. His wife fucking hates me, but we haven't. Last time I talked to him was like fucking a few years ago. Where was I going? Yeah, I wanted to protect him for sure, and they didn't really have anything on. They just had what a couple people had told him, and because of that, they wanted to get him with something because they didn't want to let anybody get away with anything. And to top it off, my executive officer, he fucking hated me because he tried to micromanage me all the time, and I constantly made him look stupid for doing it. Like, because he would try to micromanage me and pretend like he knew my job, and so I would just go along and agree with him. But when somebody would call him out on his bullshit, and he'd come back and I'd usually be there with him, and he would be like, "But you told me it was this," and I'm like, "I never told you that." He just make him look retarded in front of people all the time. So he really, really pushed the command, because the commander, like I said, the commander didn't know me, and so he just put all this negative shit into the commander's ear, saying how I was a piece of shit soldier and all this other nonsense. If it were up to that executive officer, I would have ended up in jail for sure. At the end of the day, he was a piece of shit, and I gave him the perfect opportunity to fuck me over. But they gave me the next morning to come up with a statement, and then I had all these people feed me information about because they were still questioning people while I was there. They were bringing people in with me and saying, like, so-and-so said they bought these pills from you, and I'd be like, okay, I guess so. If they say it's true, then maybe. I don't know. But I'm just, like, trying to plead the fifth. In the military, that doesn't work. You're kind of fucked.
But who was drilling you? Like,
right at this point, it's my commander and first sergeant, and my executive officer. And it's mostly my executive officer.
But I mean, it's not like a detective setting where they sit you in a room.
No, these aren't real. Well, I'm in my commander's tent. My commander and first sergeant and my executive officer have their own personal tent that the three of them sleep in. Because they're higher up, they get special treatment. And I'm in their tent, being questioned by them. I'm just standing there at parade rest, getting asked, while they're grilling me. And they're bringing people in. They get on the little walkie-talkie, bring so-and-so up. And I'm just like, fuck. Because I know it's someone I've been slinging pills to. And so-and-so, and they said they bought pills from you. And they're like, yes, I bought. And they're like all robotic, like trying not to like look at me, acknowledge that they're standing right next to me. I thought it was kind of fucked up on the commander's part, too, that they're bringing these people in there. Like, not only did they tell on me, but now they're bringing them in the room and making it clear that they're telling on me to me. Like, they're standing 6 inches from me We're side by side, and now they're telling on me. But, Mode, you said you didn't sell anything to them. But he's saying he bought, over this many this many weeks, he's buying this many pills from you. And I'm like, I guess so, if he says so.
How bad you just want to turn to that motherfucker and just lay him out?
At that point, I'm just in the back of my mind, you fucking piece of shit. You're such a pussy. How are you telling on me right now?
How many people came up and did they bring?
There's probably like a dozen people that told on me.
Did you expect any of them to actually tell on you, or did you think some?
No, I was
would
a
have your back?
retard. I expected everybody to fucking keep their mouth shut.
So,
But why would they tell? I mean, is it
The military is a different environment.
But I'm saying, is it less trouble though?
In the back of your mind, you're thinking if you're honest, you're honest and complete, nothing bad's gonna happen to you. Which, granted, like fucking the commander said, if you come out and tell me, I will only do this to you, and he did exactly what he said he was gonna do to everybody. Except some of those guys could have not said shit, and nothing would have ever happened to them. They were just too scared to get caught lying. So, because a lot of it would have been fucking my word against theirs had I said anything. And I hadn't planned on saying anything about anybody. I planned on fucking just saying I don't know nothing about nothing. And I just let people tell themselves. And so in my written statement, I was only giving names that I would only say I sold to you if you admitted to it. Now, what sucks is there was at least one, I think 2 guys that I put in my statement that I said I sold to, who I did, but they never admitted to it. No, it was 2 guys. It was 2 guys that I said I'd sold to, and because I had somebody else, one of my 2 go-betweens, because I had 2 guys that worked for my commander and first sergeant that were telling me everything that was happening in that tent. They would, like, one of them would come back and be like, "Hey, so and so just fucking went in and told everything that they were fucking selling that you were selling pills to them." Da da da. And so I'd fucking add their name to my fucking sworn statement. But these 2 guys I fucking accidentally ratted out because their names were given to me that they had admitted to it, but they never did. And I felt like a piece of shit for that because I apologized to both of them later. Like, "Hey, I'm fucking sorry. I got told that you fucking admitted to it, and I would have never put your name out there." And their name was already put out there from somebody else. That's why they were getting questioned. But me putting their name in my sworn statement was like a nail in their coffin. Or it would say the last nail in their
What
coffin.
did they say when you apologized to them?
I steered clear of them up until I was about out. And then about the time I was out, I couldn't avoid anybody anymore. It's just Fort Irwin's too small of a world. And so I came in contact, I just fucking... I pretty much laid myself on the line to both of them. "Look, I'm fucking sorry. I fucked up. This is what happened. You want to beat my ass, I understand. Give me the time and place. I'll meet you there, and I'll let you do what you need to do." I was like, I don't want nobody getting in trouble for anything anymore. And neither one of them had really any hard feelings. It was like, "No, I did it. I fucked up. I shouldn't have done it." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I shouldn't have threw your name out there either." So those suck. Even now, I feel fucking terrible talking about it. But then, so after I gave my sworn statement, my commander, who knew me fairly well, my lieutenant colonel, my commander of my squadron, he knew me really well. He was pissed and he was mostly pissed because of who it was. Not that he was pissed that was happening, but he was more pissed because of who it was, because he knew me, and he really wanted to throw the book at me at first. And so he called in for all of you who have seen NCIS. There is an Army version of that, which is CID, and so those guys came down, which those are basically fucking detectives. They came down, and with them coming down to our base, I pretty much got interrogated by them 8 hours a day for I think 7 or 8 days straight. But it was 8 to 10 hours a day. Like, their office was my place of duty. I would wake up in the morning, go to work. Someone would come down, say, "You need to go fucking..."
There was no sleeping.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was too stressed out. And they're the ones who, gave me the lineup of interpreters and said, "Okay, point out the one that you think you were buying from, since you can't remember his face." And they're the ones who broke right through that story. And they were like, they laid out the story to me. They were like, "This is
what we know happened. We just don't know the names of these people, and this is what you need to give us. And this is without me giving them a story. And they already knew the story. And I was like, all right. And so I just pretty much sat quietly, all day long while they talked to me. Because I already given them the story. Then I did try to pull a fast one on them, though, because I made that. I told them I couldn't type because I was too shaky because I had to type a sworn statement with them. And I made them type it because I didn't want to. I wanted to be able to say that I didn't type it up. Which, at the end of the day, my lawyer told me that wouldn't have helped me. But, so they did their investigation, so after I sat with them every day, all day, for about 8 days.
When you came back?
No, this is in Iraq.
I heard the glass go on that one.
I broke that again. It's the second time on a podcast I've broken that. Damn it, I was going to take another hit of that, too.
So you tried to pull a fast one on them, and then...
Okay, so yeah, I finally, after 7 or 8 days of being interrogated by them all day, I said, I cave, and I was done. I was tired of it. I didn't want to be in their office anymore. I didn't want to see their faces anymore. I didn't care what happened to me at this point. I already knew I was fucked. I just didn't care. I said, fuck it.
There's a science to it, dude, how they ended up breaking you?
Yeah, I was just done. I couldn't take it anymore. And so the guy I was buying it from, I just gave them his name. I said, fuck it, here it is. This is the name. And they already knew it was him. They just needed me to say it. You should have seen how happy they were when I said that name. When I said that name, they both jumped up and were like, I knew it. We just need you to say it. And I'm like, and they had already told me. They had already said, we know it's this guy. Just tell us that you got it from him. So finally I just said, yeah, it was this guy. And my commander, my lieutenant colonel, didn't believe me. The CID wrapped up their investigation and left. The lieutenant colonel was like, he called me his office and he's like, you're fucking lying. Because his name was brought up by, I forget how his name got brought into it, the guy I was buying it from. But somehow he got wrapped up in it. And I just kept saying I never dealt with him. I didn't even, because me and him, our only communication was this. We were never friends before that. And then, so my commander didn't believe me. He's like, no, the only reason you said his name is because it was a way out. You heard that name, and so it was a way for you to get out of this. Because he thought it was somebody else. And it was like, no, I never bought drugs from that guy that he thought it was. So, to get back to then after that happens, I say that, and from that point on, I still had another, I think, 5 or 6 weeks left in Iraq before I came home. And that was pretty much 5 or 6 weeks of me constantly hiding and watching my back, because now I knew I gave up the name of somebody who had the opportunity to have me killed at any time.
Yeah, I remember when all that was going on. I remember we were positive that you were going to jail.
I told my commander, I was like, you realize I gave up the name. I was like, not only does it crazy to me that you don't believe me. I was like, because 100%, I lied the whole way through. But at this point, I'm done lying, and I've told you everything. I was like, what sucks to me is you don't believe me, and you're going to continue on with this, thinking that that's not true. And I'm walking around here scared to death because now I'm afraid I'm going to get killed. He's like, well, we can protect you if you want. We can make sure. I was like, can you send me home right now? Can you send me home today? He's like, yeah. I was like, then you can't protect me. There's nothing you could do to protect me while I'm here. And so I pretty much just fucking laid low. And one of his guys that
What was your job duty from then on?
Well, because of that, because I got in trouble, I lost my security clearance. So I couldn't be the armorer anymore, which was my job while I was in Iraq. I was the unit armorer, so I was in charge of all the weapons. So my new job became training my old roommate, the big black guy. I had to train him on how to be the armorer, and he had no knowledge. So it's pretty much me still being the armorer, but as the guise of I was training him to be the armorer. Because they couldn't have me as the title of the armorer, but they still needed me in there for the knowledge. But from the time I got back from the hospital, all I tried to do was I was like, fuck it, I know I'm screwed, I have to be the perfect person. So I just busted my ass from that point and tried to hide as much as I could. Then so once we get back to the States, right, instantly relieved, like, cool, now I can really hide. Now I don't have to worry about getting killed. Now I just have to worry about getting my ass kicked. Which if I get my ass kicked, no big deal. I can walk away from that. It's gonna suck, but I deserve it. I'm the reason for all this. So then they finally, that was when I got that lawyer. That fucking that I don't even know why I did that. I didn't want to do it. I kind of got talked into it, but I kind of was scared at the same time. I kind of wanted to have a lawyer, but I felt like I was getting hustled by the lawyer. Whatever.
Like $4,000, right?
Actually, Dad and Tamara paid $2,000. I paid $2,000. So, which was sucked because that was the $4,000. It was $4,000 for a retainer, $9,000 to move into the first step of trial, and then another $11,000 to actually go to trial for military courts. And I was like, I got the next $9,000, but that $11,000 to go to trial, I don't know how I was going to get him that if I had to go to trial. So now that we're back in the States, easier to hide. Fucking for sure, I think I'm going to jail now because my commander is just wanting to throw the book at me. I'm really on the lookout now because I have fucking everybody's talking shit to me. And I had this one guy who was friends with the guy that I told on, the main guy I was buying from. And he didn't know me before Iraq. Like, he got to our unit, like, just before we left for Iraq, so he barely knew me. And he would just constantly talk shit with me and fuck with me. But then he became friends.
Like what, though?
He would just talk shit to me and fucking snitch, fucking little bitch. And I just, like, I'm not going to say anything back. Like, I have nothing. Like, I felt the same way about myself. And so, yeah, he would just constantly fuck with me and threaten me and whatnot. And I didn't trip. Like, it was just whatever, dude. You're not going to do anything. Like, you're too worried about your career to fucking actually do anything to me. Then he became friends with my buddy that in Iraq, the ones that me and him were like partners in crime all through Iraq. And then he found out what really happened behind everything. And then like he came and talked to me one day. He's like, "Hey man, fucking, I didn't. Kilburn told me everything that happened. Like, sorry for fucking all the shit I was saying. I didn't realize, what was going on." I'm like, "Yeah, that's the whole reason I didn't say anything back to you. I didn't have anything to say." But it was all shit like that. But then after all the threats of going to jail and thinking I'm going to trial and talking to lawyers, and then the lawyer telling me how fucked I was, the lawyer was telling me I'm screwed. So after all that, my colonel decided to give me a field grade Article 15, which at the end of the day, I lost all my rank. I lost 2 months, half of my base pay for 2 months, and 45 days of extra duty and 45 days of restriction, which I wasn't allowed. I was supposed to not be allowed to leave the base for 45 days. Then I busted my ass on extra duty every day. And everybody on extra duty fucking hated me because everybody who was on extra duty was all shitbags. You get put on extra duty because you're a shitbag. You get in trouble, you get put on extra duty. And like there were 3 or 4 of the guys that were there because they popped out on a piss test for meth. And they were like they were on extra duty while their paperwork was getting processed to get kicked out. I forget what a couple of the other guys got, mostly just drugs. And all these guys all hated me because all I did was bust my ass every day on extra duty, and they wanted to be lazy. Well, when we got back from Iraq, we had a brand new sergeant major that was in charge of everything. And because he saw me busting my ass, and he kind of knew a little bit of my background from my colonel, because my colonel, at this point, had kind of made peace with it. That's why he gave me the Article 15. He at the end of it, he decided that I didn't deserve to go to jail, and I thank him every day for that, because he really could have fucked my life. Because of this whole experience, I've decided that getting in trouble is not worth it. Because come to find out that because I was military and everything is federal, the lawyer I was talking to, I was looking at more of like a 10-year sentence for everything that I did. So because my colonel had a change of heart at the end of it and decided that he liked me more, he gave me a lesser punishment, which is, in my opinion, that was fucking cake. And my new sergeant major, because I worked so fucking hard every day, he fucking loved me. So he called me into his office one day and had a long talk with me. And he's like, I don't understand what happened to you. I kind of broke the whole story down for him. And was actually really honest with him. He was surprised. I told him everything. And then he was like, "You're just a good guy who got caught up in a bad situation." He's like, you're just looking for I was like, because it all started with me taking fucking diazepam because I wanted to be happy. And the next thing you know, I was fucking slanging them. Had a little drug ring going on. And I knew what I was doing, but at the same time, it's just I didn't care. I don't know why I got sucked into that. But yeah, that sergeant major, he fucking loved me because of my work ethic. And so he said, on extra duty, you're not supposed to get off till 11 o'clock at night. Well, because he knew I wasn't living on base at the time, and I was because they didn't restrict me to base because I wasn't living on base. So basically, I got off work at 11 o'clock at night and I had to be back in formation at 6 a.m. The problem was I lived in Victorville, which, like Abe said earlier, is 70 miles from base. So, hour and a half drive one way.
Yep.
So I was getting like 2 or 3 hours of sleep at night. My sergeant major was like, why don't you take off at 8 o'clock every night so you can go enjoy some time with your family? And so basically I got to leave extra duty at 8 o'clock every night instead of 11 o'clock. And so everybody really hated me then. And then to make it even worse, I looked like a teacher's pet in a way because the sergeant major would be bored at night and he would just call me in his office just to bullshit. Sit down with him and bullshit for like 2 hours while everybody else is out fucking cleaning toilets. So all those fuckers on extra duty really fucking hated me, and they all thought I was the biggest piece of shit because I was a rat, which in a way I agree, but whatever. We lived, we learned, and I was fucking 22 at the time, and I'm not a weak little bitch anymore.
So, what? I mean, in the long run, the Article 15, that's all they gave you?
Yeah, that's all I got from that.
And then basically, it's like a slap in the hand in the military.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. That could have been so much worse.
I feel exhausted now.
Yeah, dude, I haven't seen that stressed out tone, that story. Well, what's crazy is, I mean, I've heard this story, but I can tell how much anxiety you get when you tell it. So I don't really like, I've never gotten the full version you just gave right now. I've always gotten like a half-assed short version because I know, I can imagine something you think about quite often. I don't think it's something, this isn't a story that like, you just throw in the back of your head. I guarantee you this is something you think about.
Well, I mean, it's a story about one of the worst days of my life.
Yeah, exactly. So I guarantee you it pops in your head quite often.
Not so much anymore. It used to a lot, but these days I don't really know. I don't think about it anymore. I mean, and even now, like, I'm thinking about it, and it's like everything's rushing back. All the feelings I had at the time, the stress, how stressed out I was at the time is all coming back. It's like I'm having the emotional roller coaster all over again right now.
Yeah.
It's I mean, how there's so much that happened in that short period of time from the time I got caught until the time I got out of the Army.
Well, what's crazy to me is like, well, I've heard this story. Like I said, you've gotten out of telling the story so fast because it does stress you out. I've never seen you this worked up about it.
No, it's because I'm actually. Normally I tell the short version so I don't have to go through this emotional ride all over again because I'm talking about it. I have to relive all the experiences now because I'm remembering everything. I remember how I felt at the time. Just all shitty times.
The military was not a good time. Not for me, anyway.
God, there's so much shit that happened. I mean, this is only like a piece of like being in Iraq. This is just like the craziest piece. There's all kinds of other crazy shit that happened too that, well, like I said, some of it I'm not talking about on the internet.
Yeah.
Internet. The World Wide Web.
Yeah, this whole story might have to be its own podcast.
Yeah.
We should do a whole podcast about Jeremy's Iraq story.
Yeah.
We can talk more about the Army to add, because I could always chop it out and add it back to the other side.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck that story.
Well, actually, just the original Army story was an hour and 30. When actually you talk about this story, we're already over an hour and 30 in.
Hey, while I still have all these memories, do you guys have any questions about that story at all?
No.
Well,
It's self-explanatory.
Well, I said I've never liked to ask you about it just because I know it stresses you out.
It's already out.
But
if you have questions, ask them now.
But
while I'm in it. So I don't have to talk about it later.
My main question was,
did you take home a lot of money from that?
I blew it all. Actually, it was weird because at one point, fucking Katie, because I rarely called home. I called home once a month. I chose one day a month to call home.
Not at the end, though.
I was calling every day. I was freaking the fuck out at the end.
Yeah, but I'm saying towards the last, once you went back, because the first 6 months he was pretty good about calling home. And then once, because you get that 2-week leave. and you have to go back to Iraq for 6 months again. You never come.
Yeah, when I went back after leave, when I went home after I would leave, I didn't think I was coming home. I just fucking went crazy. I stopped calling home because I was tired of being homesick. And if the less I called home, the less homesick I got. But at one point, I was talking to Katie, and she was like, "Is everything okay? Like, you haven't withdrawn money from your account in like 4 months." Because she didn't really know what I was doing. So, yeah. So I was just spending money on whatever. Because at the time, I would sell pills, and then we had a whole underground system of booze. So I'd buy booze for me and whoever was hanging out with me.
What happened to the guy that was getting you everything? He served jail.
Almost nothing, because my commander didn't. All the way to the end, to the very end, when he gave me my Article 15, he asked me again, and still didn't believe me. Even when he gave me my Article 15, he still didn't believe me that it was that guy.
Was that guy just somewhat like so respected, or?
I honestly don't know what it was. I have no idea what it was and why he didn't believe me. I don't get it. Actually, I had to talk with him later too. I apologized to him and had to talk with him. I just kind of...
The guy that got in trouble?
The guy that I ratted on. The main guy. The guys that I accidentally ratted on, I felt halfway bad about. The guy I actually ratted on, I felt really bad about.
What
did he get?
Nothing. He got a slap on the wrist, Article 15, because he admitted to giving diazepam to one of our majors, our Squadron XO. He gave, because he had... they kind of got into a Humvee accident, and he banged his head, and he was complaining of a headache, and they were over there with that special platoon, and the medic was like, "Hey, fucking, sir, why don't you just take one of these?" And told him it's diazepam, but the major didn't realize he was taking like a prescription drug, and so that he got in trouble for handing out a prescription drug without, because he's not a doctor. So he got but they just gave him like a little slap on the wrist, Article 15. Like it's not even going to show anything that's going to show that would ever show up in his military file.
Yeah.
But I told him that whatever, same spiel I gave you guys accidentally right and odd, and like, I'm sorry, and I didn't mean for that shit to happen, and I'm a little bitch, and
how could you? I don't know. Even when we were younger, you always been so strong-willed. So how did that even come about? Where you ended up just saying "fuck it" and
because he was in the damn interrogator for a week.
I was tired of everything, just completely tired of life. Like at that point, I could have walked away and committed suicide, and like I was that's how low of a low I was at. I just didn't care anymore.
Because I've had a few buddies that have been interrogating detectives, and they always talk about like.
I'll put it this way. I wasn't allowed to have a weapon.
Well,
They
check
took my weapon away
So
from
I've had
me.
a few buddies that have been interrogating detectives, and they were like, "You have no idea like how fucking trained these guys are to break you down." They're like, "You think you get a glimpse of it, and you think like, oh, it's like when you watch what's the show on A&E, 48 Hours,
The first 48.
Yeah, he's like, they're like, you think that you get a glimpse of like, oh well, you just sit there and keep doing it. They're like, no, these guys are so fucking good. They will sit there. And like that's their job. They doesn't matter how long it takes. They're gonna break you.
Do you know what pisses me off about that show is you watch them sit down with somebody and start talking to them, and then 10 minutes later they're like, "Yeah, I killed that motherfucker." It's like, no, that was like 4 or 5 hours later.
I would say probably even longer.
Because what sucks is they don't fucking tell you. They don't tell you what your actual rights are. You're sitting there just fucking talking to them. You don't realize that once they never tell you that they don't make it clear that, hey, once you ask for the first thing you should do when you sit down with a detective, ask for a fucking lawyer. Don't answer any fucking questions. Ask for a lawyer so you know what your rights are. The first thing I should have ever done before talking to my commander, anybody, was ask for a lawyer. No matter what, I should have asked for a lawyer because I probably would have never got in trouble with anything because they didn't have anything on me. They didn't have anything on me until I fucking admitted to everything.
Yeah, you can't.
I fucked myself from the beginning.
You have the right to remain silent.
That's what I mean.
How much you're going to beat yourself up.
That's what I mean. On the first 48, how old are the motherfuckers they're bringing in for murder?
Yeah.
Not to mention...
Like Tom Segura, lawyer the fuck up.
Yeah, Tom Segura has an awesome bit on that. But anyways, fucking...
Lawyer up.
No, before I get out of... Before I change my mindset, do you have anything you want to ask me about any of that?
Better lawyer down.
What about you, Brittany? A lot of this is new information for you.
Kind of, but
Brittany, can you still sleep with Jeremy now?
What kind of question is that?
Fuck yeah, I'm a gangster.
Straight up gangsta. I was trying to think about it, but like I really don't. I mean, just from hearing the story before, I don't know. It just.
Now you're a different
I don't know
person,
if I'm just
Jeremy.
kind
Now
of
you're
like
more thuggish, ruggish barn.
I don't know if I'm just still trying to take in all of the pieces I haven't heard and just kind of like
Yeah, me too.
My mind's still kind of like.
It's more crazy
Mindless.
to see him worked up like that, huh?
And now you have to say,
I think I'm
"That's
just more like tripping
crazy."
out about how I can't stop like focusing on your.
Yeah, dude, you fucking were scratching your leg for like 20 minutes. I couldn't stop staring at you.
My heart's been racing this whole time.
It was real. Shit got real.
Yeah. Yeah,
Is this the realest ModeCast so far?
I would say this is right here is probably the realest I've ever seen Jeremy ever get, because Jeremy always has a good way of like diffusing, telling a story. He can always get out to like.
Well, this is one story that I always just tell the short version.
Well, but I mean, there's lots of things that like. In general, I know I just know. Yeah, I'm not going to ask him about it, like Iraq in general. Like I remember that, when you first got back from Iraq, you
were different, dude. You came back different.
It wasn't just that you came back. It wasn't that you just.
You definitely had post traumatic stress.
Oh, you don't have your pen with you? Your little.
Oh no.
Because I didn't even believe in post traumatic stress until I saw Jeremy.
Well, no, it wasn't. But there's. I agree with Jeremy. There's two types of people. I know there's two types of killers, but I think this about Iraq also, or you just even being in the military in general. Like Jeremy said, there's two types of killers. There's one that will admit, or there's one that like is braggadocious, like, oh my god, like yeah, I shot this guy. And there's guys that like will never mention ever killing somebody. Dude, will you guys shut the fuck up?
I'm listening to it.
I know, but I can't. All right. Anyways,
ModeCast.
so no, but I believe that with Iraq also. Like, we'll go to a party and Jay won't. Like, let's say that there's military guys. Jay won't be like, "Oh yeah, I was in the military." Jay won't.
Hell no, me neither. I don't like to talk about my military time. And
Yeah, Jay won't say he was in the military. There's guys talking about Iraq that are just. You can totally tell they're just fucking bullshit and everything. Jay won't be like, "Oh, I was in Iraq. I know exactly." He'll sit there and pretend. I'll usually say, like, "Hey, Jeremy was in Iraq just to fuck with Jeremy." Or Jeremy was in the military.
Well, how many of those motherfuckers are talking about it with an ego? I
Yeah.
can't stand it when people are talking about something that's ego-driven.
Yeah.
Like, it's not something that, I mean, how many guys keep talking about that same thing for 20, 30 years? Like, it's fucking, they just did it yesterday.
Yeah.
I was in Nam, man. I just talked to somebody at my work the other day about Nam.
Now, granted,
Tell me
like,
how hard things were in Nam. I said, dude, that was so long
I get a lot
ago.
of it. Like, I don't want to shit all over people that do that.
I just
because
don't
a lot
understand.
of
I never understand it.
No, because a lot of it, like, when you go through an experience like that with people, like, I get it. Because I was there, like, you have this bond with the people that you're there with that's different, especially like the infantry guys, because they're out on patrol every day, getting into firefights every day together. I get it, that bond that they form, and then that's why, like, when you find another guy that's been through something that you've been through, like, you instantly relate to them. I get that side of it, but I'm talking about the guys that talk about their military with the ego, like,
Yeah, like, it was so hard. You know what I mean, dude? It's not that serious.
Which I get,
like,
you
it's
should be
serious, but it's
proud.
not that serious.
Now, you should be proud of serving in the military. I just don't. Well, plus I feel like I put such a ding on my service by what I did that I just don't want to talk about any of my service.
But even still, it's just a 9 to 5, just like any other job.
That's all it really is.
It's just a 9 to 5. It's a job. Like, that's all it is. It's the same. Like, I go to work freaking tomorrow. I'm supposed to be there 8 to 5. You know what I mean? I'd probably call in sick just because I just bought a house and I need to move my shit in. But it's just a 9 to 5. It ain't nothing. It ain't nothing different than what I do on an everyday basis in the civilian world.
No, it's just another job.
In the military life, it's just a 9
just
to
a crazier
5. I mean,
job.
It's a crazier job for sure because you got to go to physical training every freaking morning, and you're in better shape because whatever you eat, you're gonna sweat out. But I mean, other than that,
And the next time you think your boss is an asshole, imagine your boss being able to make you do push-ups.
Yeah. If you think your boss is an asshole in the regular world, try the military world. Because honestly, what they do is they go, oh, you think you don't have to listen to me, or you want to talk while you're supposed to be working? Go ahead and get smoked, you know? But I guess now it's different than when I was in, because I just heard that...
How'd they used to say it, Abe? Fucking beat your face?
Fucking beat your face. And, fucking beat your face. Like, seriously, it sucks.
Like, oh, you want to talk back to me? How about you drop and beat your face?
Yeah, beat your face.
Oh, God.
And then they would say, hold on, Turbo. Quite a bit. Hold on, Turbo.
You know what was fun when we first got to Iraq? For whatever reason, my platoon, my first sergeant was all gung-ho because my platoon got put in charge of running the towers for the base. And like we just took over as a Marine unit, so we took over with what they had put in place, and then we improved from there. But for the first month or two, we were in charge of handling the towers, and we'd have to command the radio and anything that the towers had to report in every hour just to make sure that they're still there, and then they report anything that they see. And this one tower that we had a dump where we just dump our trash, and it was burning 24/7. It was just pretty much on the Simpsons, the Springfield tire place where it's just on fire 24/7. That was our little dump on our base where we'd put all our trash. But the Iraqis would fucking come in and raid the dump because it's all usable stuff for them. I mean, it's a fucking third world country. They don't have shit. So a lot of our trash...
It was all burnt, though, right?
Well, some of it was burning. They would wait till the truck came and dumped, and then they would go running in because it was all fresh stuff. And there's usable materials in there, especially for for somebody who has absolutely nothing. And so they have to work with everything they can get. I mean, a pallet is super valuable there because they just take it and rip it apart and use it for the wood. I remember I went on a little humanitarian aid run with our sergeant major, because my friend was sergeant. He was an infantry guy. He ran his own patrol, and so he'd take a sergeant major out or the squadron XO out a lot. And so he let me ride along with him on this run, and the sergeant major's truck broke down or started not running right, and so they wanted to go back. And so instead of going in and handing out all this shit, we just stopped in the field or in this middle of the soccer field, dumped out fucking probably 10 pallets of stuff. We didn't even set it down nicely. We just literally dumped it out like a dump truck on the ground, and we were pulling security around it, and then once the truck got done dumping, set up, we just stood back, and this entire town just came in and raided it. Within 5 minutes, nothing was there, not one thing. It was just gone. It was a bunch of bags, the reusable bags you get at grocery stores now, the Go Green shit. It was those filled with some basic cleaners, some rice, a couple other food like beans, some other stupid products that you would find mundane that they just don't have. But yeah, we just dumped it within 5 minutes, just gone. Jeez. And those fuckers, they really don't care. They don't give a shit that you're holding a gun. The Iraqi locals, they'll just walk right up to you and grab you. And they're not fucking with you. They're just fucking... I actually don't know what the fuck they're doing. But I tell you what, you take your M16 and hold it like a bat, and they move quick. Because they know we're not allowed to shoot them.
But if you're going to try to hit them...
But they know we'll fucking hit the fuck out of them. Yeah. But they'll just come up to fuck with you because they know that we can't do much. As long as they're not being threatening, we can't do anything to them. And they know that. But yeah, we'll catch you slipping. I'll catch you with my butt stock real quick. Get the fuck away from me. That's what sucks though, is because you go out in a town and you're fucking geared up, and it's you don't know who's what or what. Everybody is a fucking terrorist, pretty much. Especially with the way we run things over there. I know for a fact that we are creating terrorists every day because where we were was all farmland, and we would be sitting. We send our patrols out just to go fucking terrorize these villages and towns because. We know that there's caches of weapons, so we have our people out there doing their jobs, what they're told to do, kicking in doors and whatnot. But that all it does, imagine having military just rolling down the street every day, and then they can come in and just kick your door down whenever the fuck they want. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah, I watched this There was this documentary online about after the whole Sniper movie came out and like made Chris Kyle a god. And there's actually quite a few snipers that came on a post and just basically just tearing that movie apart. So it's ridiculous that the fact that like how you can sit there and say like, oh, it wasn't the people that I killed, it was the people that I wasn't able to kill or that I missed target or whatever he said. They're basically just saying that the whole war was a joke. That the fact that we're praising this guy like he was a god is just absolutely horrible.
No, there's one.
All we did was exactly what you're saying was go over there and cause more chaos instead of helping anything.
Yeah, I would never downplay what Chris Kyle did, but I think that he is kind of being made out to be a god. I don't think it should be that way. I mean, what other sniper out there has ever came forward asking for any kind of recognition? Yeah. Actually, listening to Sniper, there's a History Channel did a piece on snipers, and that shit is kind of creepy. Listening to those fuckers talk, because there's one guy who he talks like, he says you've never really been hunting until you've hunted a human.
Yeah.
Damn.
And
you ever seen Surviving the Game?
I've told you several times that because of being in Iraq, I've never killed anybody. I was fucking supply. I was a staff person. I'm not infantry. I'm not hardcore. I'm not a badass. Fucking, I never wanted to be. I did go out on infantry patrols with my buddy. He always made me the driver because the driver never leaves the vehicle because he knows that fucking I'm not. Basically, in Army terms, I'm a little bitch. I don't care. That's the job I chose. And so,
in the military, there's two people you don't fuck with: supply and cooks.
That's the truth.
It's true. Because you don't fuck with people that handle your food, and you don't fuck with somebody that can give you toilet paper.
Or a gun. Or a gun.
Or a gun. Or a gun. But the toilet paper is like gold in the field. When you go to the field, toilet paper is like gold, man.
Didn't you mainly handle guns, though, Jay?
What do you mean? Oh, no, that's part of being supply. Part of supply's job is the armor. Most units will designate like an infantry guy to do it because supply doesn't have time to be an armor. But I weaseled my way into the arms room position because I hated my supervisor at the time, so I was trying to get out from underneath of her.
Kind of cool because he's chill.
And that kind of weaseled my way in there. And then fucking when we got our orders to go to Iraq, all the females got pushed out of our unit. And it was a female supervisor that I had at the time that I hated, and so it made it really nice for me being the armor because I never really got fucked with by anybody because I was kind of my own boss. I didn't really have to deal with anybody.
Yeah,
it was fucking easy. I mean, the job was time and labor intensive. Well, not labor intensive, but just time consuming.
Most supply part is like when a lot of guys come up and try to get like their uniforms worked on or whatever, and you have to fill out the paperwork for them. So
supply,
they can go down and get it worked on.
Supply is easy. It's a lot of paperwork. The only time you really have to work hard is when your unit's doing a change of command because the new commander, every year you have a new commander come in and take over.
So you got to do inventory and shit.
And you got to inventory everything the unit has. And it's just a shit ton of paperwork. It's boring as fuck. It's whatever.
It takes a long time.
But anyways, I was starting to say something. Oh, I was going to say I've always said I could be proven wrong. It's just my personal experience. I don't like it when I hear people that I don't believe say they've killed somebody that's in the army or in the military.
Yeah, because 9 times out of 10, it's not true.
I've experienced two situations where if somebody's killed somebody. One is the person will not talk about it. If anything is brought up surrounding the situation, they completely shut down and they have nothing to say. You cannot get a word out of them about the situation. The other one is the exact opposite, where they talk about it freely like it's a fucking walk in the park. Because I knew a couple of guys that would talk about fucking shooting or, killing Haji like it was nothing. Like they were just telling a story about fucking going out to the bar. Fucking insane. Like they don't have any qualms about it.
And those are sick.
It wasn't long after you told me that. Dad and I told the story many times. It was maybe telling Bert and Abe. I went target practicing with my dad, and there was a guy out there. He was, I don't know, how do you say it, the first tour that went over there?
Yeah, it's a tour of duty.
All right. Well, he was a Marine. First tour went over there, and he was so proud. And like, I was the first one. Cool guy. Not knocking him at all. It was crazy to. When Jay told me that, how there's 2 types of people, then this guy having to break it down. He's like, I was the first tour. I was the first Marine in my platoon that got the first confirmed kill, and like how excited he was about it. It was like, holy shit. And he knew weapons. Like I've never talked to anybody that knew weapons like him. It was fucking mind blowing.
Well, I just get frustrated with the motherfuckers that tell a story that's like, oh, yeah, we're done right now. I get tired of hearing the motherfuckers that like, I did kill, I killed somebody over in Iraq, you know. Yeah, it's pretty tough. Like, you know, it still bothers me. Like, I don't. Yeah, I get by though. Like, you know, it's not that bad. It's like, dude, fuck you. You're a liar. Like, you just sound like you're full of shit. It's like you're doing that half-ass thing because you don't really have a viewpoint on it.
Yeah.
At least that's just my opinion. If you really do talk that way and you did kill somebody, you can come tell me about it.
Yep.
Or email me at themodecast@gmail.com. I've already gotten a couple emails. I think Cardini Weenie emailed us, and so did Sean. Fuck you guys. It is not a paradox.
Yeah, stupid paradox. Stupid fucking Pinocchio.
I'm going to argue this till the end of time. It's not a paradox.
I hate Pinocchio and
Did
his
you
nose.
write them back?
No, I haven't wrote them back yet. I'm fucking lazy. All right, we're wrapping this bitch up. I'm fucking emotional and tired. I'm ready to go home.
Yes.
Abraham, awesome having you.
Dude, awesome being here.
ModeCast out.
Bert.
ModeCast out.
ModeCast out.
ModeCast out.
ModeCast out.
ModeCast out.
ModeCast out.
ModeCast.
ModeCast out.